Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? We're going to take a different approach today. I wanted to try something new, and I had a little help with this video. I took opinions from both sides of the aisle. Okay, from the left, the right, and the middle. Okay, and this is a hypothetical path to a totalitarian America. All right, and I did it this way, getting opinions from all sides. So, not for nothing, so no one would get butt hurt. Okay, so no one would say, well, you're leaning too much to this side. Well, you're leaning too much to that side. So that's why I have it from all sides. Okay. So I want you to just, imagine for just a moment, okay, that you wake up one day and you are the president of the United States. But instead of holding, whether it's democracy or republic, however you yourself view this country, okay, your goal is to dismantle it, turning the land of the free into a totalitarian regime. This is not a call to action. It is a stark warning. By exploring how it could happen, I uncovered the fragile safeguards protecting our freedoms today, drawing from history, getting opinions and analyses. So let's walk through the steps. Okay, I want you to buckle up because this is a very thought-provoking experiment that might keep you up at night. Okay, so the first thing is to lay the groundwork. Okay, so this is step one. The first thing that the new president would do is to fuel public dissatisfaction. Totalitarian regimes, they don't rise in happy times. They exploit the crises. The outlines of historical patterns with every dictatorship starts by tapping into or amplifying discontent with a status quo. I would portray the economy as being rigged. Certain classes, certain people as being threats, elites as being the enemy, echoing tactics used in Weimar Germany before Hitler's rise. In the U.S. context, I would amplify divisions like using social media, rallies, as all like people who are running as presidents do, okay? They all have rallies and things like that. They promise a new era where real Americans win, right? This mirrors the authoritarian playbook from a perfect democracy or republic that politicize independent institutions by claiming that they're corrupt, building a narrative that only I can fix, right? So here's a thought-provoking question for you. How often do we see leaders today from each side of the aisle, doesn't matter who it is, blaming the system without offering real solutions. Now, this erodes trust itself. So the next step is build an ideological, a loyal base, okay, which both sides always do. You would craft a unifying ideology. Totalitarianism is a system that subordinates all life to the state using propaganda to control minds, right? Then you would create a cult of personality. You would make up some kind of a slogan, right? What was her slogan? I'm sorry, I had to look up Kamala Harris's slogan. Hers was strength and joy, strength and joy. Yeah, strength and joy. Then we had Biden's, which was build back better. Yeah, build back better. And then, of course, we have President Trump, who is Make America Great Again. Okay, so you would have it was something like grandiose, okay, promising purity, strength, exclusion of others, that type of thing, okay. You have to have some kind of a huge slogan, okay. Historically, this is a stage 2 from the 5 stages of totalitarianism, okay, an ideological revolution that redefines reality, okay. In the U.S., okay, you could stack the administration with loyalists. Each president does this. Okay, you stack it with loyalists, purging civil servants who would question this new president. Okay, and then you would control the media. Okay, by labeling critics, subsidizing friendly outlets, just like Mussolini did in Italy. Okay. Now, if social media algorithms, okay, already amplify echo chambers, how close are we to state-controlled narratives? Foreign Affairs warns America is edging toward competitive authoritarianism, where elections exist but power is rigged. Okay, we've been saying this for how long? Okay, that we vote, but they're selected, not elected. Okay, how long have we been saying that? Okay. Now, the next thing is to persecute opponents. Okay, totalitarianism outlaws opposition, controlling public and private spheres. Okay, so this next president would weaponize the judiciary, appoint loyal judges, ignore rulings. Okay, so then you would expand surveillance because we're coming more and more into tech, AI, that type of thing. You expand surveillance via tech, echoing the warnings in the origins of totalitarianism about inverting politics through fear. You gerrymander districts to ensure perpetual control, ban protests as insurrections, use the military for domestic order. Okay. Now, when it comes to education, what would you do with education? All right. You would rewrite the curricula to glorify the state, suppressing critical thinking like North Korea is doing. Now, here's something. The BBC, the World in Chains scenario, highlights how AI could enable internal surveillance, like making escape impossible. All right. So if we are already debating privacy laws, Is this sci-fi or tomorrow's headlines? All right. Now, what's the next thing? You would manufacture a crisis, seize power, total power, right? So this would be the turning point. Okay. You would describe like a state of emergency. Okay, how many times have we seen this? A state of emergency, justifying total control, like Hitler's Reichstag fire or France's reign of terror. Okay, now in this scenario, let's instigate chaos. Okay, say what's something that we could instigate chaos? Let's use something that is happening right now. Let's just say mass deportations. Okay, because that's something that we're all concerned about. Okay, that's something that's happening right now. We've got alligator Alcatraz, and there's more of those that are popping up in other states. Okay, let's just use that. Okay. And because it's also sparking riots and this, that, and the other. Okay, so we're just going to use that for right now. They would take that, the mass deportations that they're sparking riots and this, that, and the other. Okay, then they would declare martial law. Okay, they would deploy forces, beef up ICE like they're doing, and then they're saying, well, it's like secret police. Well, wait, what? Look at what they're doing. They are, even though the sheriffs here in Florida, they're not happy because they feel that that our deputies are being taken away from the sheriff's offices here in Florida and being made into ICE officers because of the incentives of a $50,000 sign-on bonus plus $60,000 in debt forgiveness. Okay, so this is what I wanted to use as a scenario here. Okay, so then you would have outlaw parties. Okay, censored speech, which we have, not for nothing. Okay, especially on this platform. Enforce oaths, loyalty oaths. Regimes like with Hitler. Okay, he used genocide for purity. That sick, twisted fuck that he was. Okay, but here in the U.S., it could start with, say, like a re-education camp. Okay. With the recent talks of, say, national emergencies, how vigilant must we be to prevent real ones from being faked? Okay, that's a question for you. Okay, so the next thing, to cement eternal rule, okay, you have to be able to achieve total dominance. Totalitarian states operate outside the laws with unpredictable policing. The next president would have to nationalize key industries, use AI for like everything, like lie detecting, monitoring, solve succession by creating an AI assisted dynasty per like 80,000 hours risks of stable totalitarianism. Okay, abandon allies, praise dictators, and wrap it in like a pseudo religion. All right, so what would be the end game here? A boot stamping on the human face forever, as Orwell himself warned. Open democracy, okay, or the republic that we live in, okay, let's just be honest here, notes totalitarianism, uses mass media and police to crush pluralism. If History repeats itself, which you know what the saying is, okay? Those who deny history are doomed to repeat it, okay? Could tech make it unbreakable? So what is the conclusion here? This is not inevitable. Let's just make that clear, okay? It's a warning, okay? Democracies, republics, they are defended by strengthening institutions and norms. And so what is our job? Our job is to vote and to speak out and to hold our leaders accountable. So what do you think? How close are we? Comment. Send me an email, okay? Share. Subscribe for more deep dives. Remember, freedom isn't free. It's vigilant. Right? All right, guys, I will see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fear less and God bless. Ciao.